Good morning, my dear friends. I hope you all are doing great. Dear friends, today we'll be doing some problems which will be based on Le Chatelier's principle. Okay? Through these problems, you will understand the application of Le Chatelier's principle, my dear friends. Let's take on the first problem. N2 plus 3 times H2 gives me 2 times ammonia. Okay? So the forward process is mentioned here. It's negative. Negative means it's exothermic. So when forward reaction is exothermic, understand the backward reaction will be endothermic. Okay, cool. Which one is the essential condition for the higher production of NH3? You want to produce more and more NH3, more and more ammonia. Okay, so this is the application of Le Chatelier's principle. In Haber's process, in a chemical plant, you want to have more and more production of ammonia. Correct? So what are the conditions which are required for the more production of ammonia? So let us see that. First of all, the first condition is high temperature. So let's take on the high temperature. Before taking on higher temperature, we must know that the forward reaction is exothermic and the backward reaction will be endothermic, my dear friends. So let's have a look here. N2 plus 3 times H2. Okay, it's already mentioned that forward reaction is exothermic. Correct? So what about the backward reaction, my dear friends? Exactly opposite. Backward reaction is endothermic. So when forward reaction is exothermic, and obviously you should understand that backward will be endothermic. If backward is exothermic, then forward will be endothermic. So, okay? So have a look here. Now forward reaction and backward reaction you are knowing, and I also told you last time about this factor. If you increase the temperature, change imposed, temperature is increased. Let's take on this factor, high temperature. If you increase the temperature, what should reaction do? This is the change imposed. Change imposed. So I am increasing the temperature for this reaction which is at equilibrium. So I have increased the temperature. It has to be reversed. Last time I discussed that increase in temperature will favor endothermic reaction. Decrease in temperature will favor exothermic reaction. So you are increasing the temperature. Temperature is high, that means you are increasing the temperature. So increase in temperature favors, I will write down increase in temperature favors endothermic reaction. Okay? So if you look at this reaction, which one is endothermic? Forward or backward? Backward is endothermic. So we will say here then, we'll say here backward reaction takes place. Backward reaction takes place. Okay? So when backward reaction takes place, what is the meaning? Meaning is that NH3 will break into, come on, N2 and H2. So in backward reaction what will happen? NH3 2 times will break into N2 plus 3 times H2. But which one is the essential condition for the higher production of NH3? I want higher production of ammonia. But in this case, am I getting ammonia or ammonia is breaking? Ammonia is breaking into N2 and H2. So I am getting here more production of N2 gas and H2 gas. So that means the higher temperature cannot be our answer, because higher temperature will favor, look here, higher temperature favors which reaction? Backward reaction. So when backward reaction is favored, what is produced? NH3 is produced or N2 and H2 is produced? N2 and H2 are produced. But what should be produced? NH3. So high temperature is not capable of doing it. Then we can understand that who will do it? The low temperature will do it, my dear friends. So let us understand, take on now low temperature here. So I will take on this low temperature. Let me take on low temperature. So low temperature means I have to decrease the temperature. This is the change imposed from outside. Change imposed. And last time I told you that low temperature will favor the exothermic reaction. So low temperature, so we will write down here, decrease in temperature favors exothermic reaction. Okay, so when exothermic reaction takes place, which reaction is exothermic? Forward reaction is exothermic. So N2 and H2 will make NH3. So NH3 will be produced here. So we will say here, forward reaction is exothermic. So forward reaction takes place. What is forward reaction? N2 plus 3 times H2 will give me NH3. So NH3 is produced here. So here NH3 is produced. And my question also tells me that what are the essential conditions which will favor the production of NH3? And obviously the low temperature is one of the factors. So we found one factor. Now we have to find out another factor also. So what is that another factor? Pressure. We have to see that which pressure will favor the production of NH3. So look here. When you are decreasing the temperature, then which reaction is favored? Exothermic reaction. And due to exothermic reaction, what is produced? NH3 is produced. Exothermic reaction is forward reaction. And I want the production of NH3. And that is the application of Le Chatelier's principle. That you can produce more and more ammonia when you have a low temperature right out here. Okay? So let's go further. And let us understand now the application of the low pressure or high pressure. So which one among them will favor the production of ammonia? So have a look. Let's take on our reaction. N2 plus 3 times H2 gives me 2 times NH3. And here we have 4 moles. And here we have 2 moles. Okay? So remember always, when you are increasing the pressure, that is the change imposed, the system should oppose the change. Okay? This is change imposed. The system should oppose the change. What is the opposite? The pressure has to be decreased. How to decrease the pressure? I told you last time that when you are going from higher number of moles to lower number of moles, so you have to, reaction moves from higher number of moles to lower number, higher number of moles to lower number of moles. Higher number of moles, we have 4 moles to 2 moles. That means reaction will move from 4 moles to 2 moles. It means the reaction will move from N2 3 times H2 to 2 times NH3, my dear friends. So from outside what you have done, you have increased the pressure. From outside you have increased the pressure. Because of that increase in pressure on the chemical reaction which is at equilibrium, the chemical reaction will oppose the change. It will decrease the pressure. How to decrease the pressure? The reaction moves from higher number of moles to lower number of moles. And higher number is 4 moles and lower number is 2 moles. So when you move from more number of moles to lower number of moles, pressure will automatically decrease. So pressure will decrease. So 4 to 2 moles means you are moving from N2 plus 3 times H2 to what? NH3. That means NH3 is produced. So NH3 is produced. So NH3 is produced at which pressure, my dear friends? NH3 is produced at, come on, at high pressure. The pressure which you are giving from outside. And what is happening in the chemical reaction? Chemical reaction is trying to decrease the pressure. But outside I am imposing high pressure. So you have understood now that high pressure will favor it. Let us suppose if it is, I will change it. If it is a low pressure, then the chemical reaction will increase the pressure. It will move from 2 moles to 4 moles. That means it will go from 2 to 4 and then it will go in which direction? Backward direction. So you can't produce ammonia. You can produce N2 and H2 at that time. So exactly opposite will be the case with the low pressure. So now look here. So which pressure is favoring the production of NH3? The pressure from outside, that should be high. So high pressure will favor it. So my answer will be the option B. Option B is my answer because low temperature will favor the production of ammonia and high pressure will favor the production of ammonia. So low temperature and high pressure are required for the production of ammonia, my dear friends. Please make note of this. Dear friends, let us understand the question number 2, which is which one will affect the equilibrium state of a given chemical reaction. So this is a chemical reaction with us. So you have to see that the factors, which one among the following will affect the chemical equilibrium of this reaction. So let's have a look. First of all, this is my chemical reaction and these are gaseous substances. And it has to be taken 2 times. Okay. So in this chemical reaction, the forward reaction is endothermic. Then understand the backward reaction will be exothermic, my dear friends. Okay. First of all, in this chemical reaction, we will look about the pressure. Okay. And remember always, pressure, okay, and addition of inert gas. So pressure and addition of inert gas will have no effect over equilibrium when delta N gaseous is equal to 0, my dear friends. We have to see here in this chemical reaction, if delta N gaseous is equal to 0, then the pressure, okay, and the addition of inert gas. Addition of inert gas will also increase the pressure. So addition of inert gas is also related to pressure only. Okay, my dear friends. So pressure and addition of inert gas will have no effect over equilibrium when delta N is equal to 0. Let us calculate delta N for this chemical reaction. The products are 2 moles and reactants are also 2 moles. So here, my dear friends, delta N gaseous is equal to NP gaseous minus NR gaseous. How many products in gaseous state you have? 2 minus how many reactants in gaseous state? 2. So obviously delta N is equal to 0. So my dear friends, pressure will have no effect on this chemical reaction. Addition of inert gas will also have no effect because addition of inert gas will increase the pressure. So when pressure has no effect, addition of inert gas has also no effect. Reason? Because delta N is equal to 0. Okay. Let's go to the catalyst. I told you last time, catalyst will increase the rate of forward reaction and backward reaction equally. What is the role of catalyst? Catalyst increases the rate of forward reaction and backward reaction equally. So the net change is what? 0. So catalyst also does not affect the equilibrium state. So this is also not your answer. So now let's look at the temperature. Temperature will have the effect. Let us see how. Don't look that 3 options are wrong, then this will be the answer. No, you have to just see it first of all, whether it's correct or not. Okay. So let us check it out, my dear friends. High temperature. So my dear friends, with respect to high temperature, okay, first of all let us write down it as forward and backward. We know that if you look at this reaction, delta H is positive, that means it's for forward reaction. So forward reaction is endothermic. Forward reaction is endothermic. So obviously the backward reaction will be exothermic. So backward reaction. So let us go here, my dear friends, and understand it. Change imposed. What is the change you are imposing from outside? Change imposed. That temperature is basically high. That means you are increasing the temperature. And you know that, my dear friends, I have told you many times that increase in temperature favors endothermic reaction. So increase in temperature favors endothermic reaction. So obviously, my dear friends, what will happen here? when we increase the temperature, endothermic reaction will take place. That means equilibrium will be disturbed. And endothermic reaction is which reaction here, my dear friends? Have a look. Here we have endothermic reaction as forward reaction. So I'll write down here, forward reaction takes place. Reaction takes place. That means equilibrium will be disturbed, or equilibrium will be shifted towards right, from left to right, means from reactants to products. So I will be having here forward reaction N2 plus O2 gives me 2 times NO, my dear friends. And this reaction will take place. That means temperature does have an effect. So high temperature is, we are exposing this chemical reaction to a high temperature. And when temperature is high, and remember, high temperature will favor which reaction? Endothermic reaction. And which reaction is endothermic? Forward or backward? Forward reaction is endothermic. So forward reaction will take place. In forward reaction, N2 plus O2 will react to give 2 times NO. And this reaction will take place till the time again the equilibrium is established, my dear friends. Okay? If they mention here low temperature, so I will be having here low temperature. And low temperature will favor exothermic reaction. And exothermic reaction takes place, will it be forward or backward? Exothermic will be backward. Backward means in place of this, I have to write down NO, 2 times NO gives me N2 and O2. So here this reaction will become 2 times NO gives me N2 plus O2. So depending on whether temperature is high or temperature is low. That means temperature does have an effect on this chemical reaction. So this is my answer. So D option is my answer. Please make note of this. Dear students, now let's have a look at the question number 3, which is, which of the following reaction proceeds at low pressure in forward direction? So we have 4 reactions with us in 4 options. So we have to tell that which reaction will proceed in forward direction at low pressure. So you are aware about the Le Chatelier's principle. So let's apply it here. Let's take on the first reaction, which is N2 plus 3 times H2 gives me 2 times NH3. Let us calculate here first of all delta N. If delta N is 0, then pressure will have no effect. Okay? So first of all, let us check out the delta N for this reaction. Delta N gaseous is equal to number of moles of products in gaseous state minus number of moles of reactants in gaseous state. Obviously the products are here 2 and the reactants are 4. So it will be 2 minus 4, that is minus 2. So dear friends, here delta N is not 0. So pressure will have some effect. Okay? So let us calculate the second one. H2 plus I2 gives me 2 times HI. So let us see here delta N gaseous. It's 2 minus 2, that is 0. Here delta N is 0. So remember, the pressure will have no effect here. I have to check that the reaction has to proceed in the forward direction. But if delta N is 0, then the pressure will have no effect on it. So this second option cannot be my answer. Let us look at the third option. Okay? In third option, if I calculate delta N, you will find out the products are 2 moles and the reactants are also 2 moles here. So my dear friends, the reactants and products are same, so equal. So we will have delta N 0. That means option number 3 cannot be my answer. So I have actually discarded, or I have rejected the option number B and C, my dear friends. Now I have to look into option number A and option number D. Let us check the option number D first. Delta N gaseous is equal to, you have the products here, products are 2 and the reactant is only 1. So you will be having 2 minus 1, that is 1. So my dear friends, the low pressure can have either effect on the option A or on the option D, because second and third the pressure will have no effect because delta N is 0. So let us understand with respect to first and the last. Okay, one of them is our answer. Okay, have a look. If you take on the first reaction, you will be having N2 plus 3 times H2 gives me 2 times NH3, my dear friends. See, we have here 4 moles. You are going from the 4 moles to 2 moles. So when you have 4 gaseous moles and you have 2 gaseous moles, okay, so obviously 4 moles will exert more pressure and 2 moles will exert less pressure. That means you are moving from high pressure to low pressure. So what is the condition outside? Imposed condition according to Le Chatelier's principle. What is the change imposed? Change imposed is low pressure. That means here, my dear friends, change imposed. Change imposed for the reaction which is at equilibrium. That means the pressure is low. That is decrease in pressure. So when we are decreasing the pressure from outside, that means low pressure is there, my dear friends, from outside. Okay? What will happen? The change will be opposed by the system. Okay? So change has to be opposed. How to oppose the change? If you decrease the pressure from outside, the reaction which is at equilibrium has to oppose it. That means it has to increase the pressure. Now here the pressure has to be increased by a chemical reaction. And remember, chemical reaction will increase the pressure when it will move from the lower number of moles to higher number of moles. So I will write down here, reaction moves from lower number of moles to higher number of moles. So obviously by doing this, the pressure will increase. From outside you are decreasing the pressure, but the chemical reaction which is at equilibrium has to increase the pressure so that the equilibrium will be re-established once again. So have a look here. This is the condition. Now if you look at your reaction, we have to go from the lower number of moles to higher number of moles. That means we have to go from 2 to 4. That means from 2 moles to 4 moles. When we go from 2 moles to 4 moles, we are going in a backward direction. So I will write down here, backward reaction takes place. Backward reaction takes place. So my dear friends, according to the question, what they say, which of the following reaction proceeds at low pressure in forward direction? My dear friends, at low pressure, this first reaction is proceeding in the backward direction. So this cannot be my answer. So obviously the only one option left is now D option. So D option will be our answer. Let us check it out. Okay, have a look. Have a look here, my dear friends. If I take on the D option now, we have PCl5 gives me PCl3 plus Cl2. So here I have 1 mole, here I have 2 moles. Okay? So what is the change imposed on the system which is at equilibrium? The pressure is decreased. When we decrease the pressure, what will chemical reaction do? It has to increase the pressure. Okay? How to increase the pressure, my dear friends? It has to move from lower number of moles to higher number of moles. Okay? So reaction will move from higher number of moles. Okay? Will move for basically from lower number of moles. Will move from lower number of moles to higher number of moles. So lower number is here 1, so it will move from 1 to 2. So when the reaction moves from lower number of moles to higher number of moles, ultimately the pressure will increase. And that is from 1 mole to 2 moles you are moving. So from 1 mole to 2 mole, that means you are moving in a forward direction. That means forward reaction takes place. Forward reaction takes place. So dear friends, the last option is our answer, that here forward reaction will take place. So D is the answer. Dear friends, now I want this reaction A plus B gives me C plus D, okay, to move in a forward direction. Okay, so this reaction is at equilibrium, but I want it to shift in a forward direction. Means I want the forward reaction to take place. So the conditions are given to me in terms of concentration now. Okay, so based on these conditions, I have to tell that which one will favor the forward reaction. Which condition will favor the forward reaction? You know that these C and D are your products and A and B are your reactants. So this reaction is at chemical equilibrium and I am adding more amount of C. That means I am increasing the molar concentration of product. Okay. So remember, I am adding more C, option A. So when I add more C, that means I am increasing the concentration of C. And this C is nothing but it's your product. That means all you can tell, you are increasing the molar concentration of the product. So this is the change imposed. So this is the change imposed over the system which is at equilibrium. Now this change has to be opposed by the chemical reaction which is at equilibrium. Why does a reaction oppose the change? So that it will shift back to the equilibrium state. So have a look here. Concentration is increased for C, or concentration is increased for the product. Okay. What will happen? Our chemical reaction. So let's take on our chemical reaction which is at equilibrium. It has to decrease the molar concentration of products. Okay. It has to be decreased. Now tell me how to decrease the molar concentration of products. I am increasing the molar concentration of products. Here it has to decrease the molar concentration of products. Obviously, products will be decreased only when reaction will go from products to reactants. So these are my products. When products will change into reactants, products will decrease and reactants will increase, my dear friend. So I have to decrease the products. That means I have to decrease the C. C is the product. Okay. So product will change into the reactant, and when product changes into reactant, which reaction is this? This is backward reaction. So if this is backward reaction, the first one cannot be my answer. Okay? And similar, just like the first one, if you look at the last one, adding more D. If you add more D, what will happen? Again the backward reaction will take place. The D option cannot be my answer. Let us try it. What is D? Tell me, my dear friends, what is D? D is a product. So in place of now C, I will write down D. And it's now which option? Let's take on the D option now here. Okay. So D is made to increase. So adding more D, that means you are increasing the molar concentration of the product. Who is your product? D. So this is a change imposed. And our chemical reaction, okay, at equilibrium, it will oppose the change. Chemical reaction will oppose the change. Oppose the change. Here we are increasing the molar concentration of product, that is D. Here the D has to decrease, and D is nothing but your product. It has to decrease. How to decrease the product? When product will change into reactant, product will decrease and reactant will increase. So product is decreasing here. And when product is changing into the reactant, which reaction is this? Backward reaction. So this will be also favoring the backward reaction. So it favors backward reaction. This guy is also a product, it will favor backward reaction. So both are favoring the backward reaction. Favors backward reaction. Now we have to look at the option number B and option number C and find out that what is our answer, my dear friends. So let us concentrate on option number B and option number C. So have a look here, my dear friends. Let's take option number B. In option number B, what we are doing, we are removing some amount of D. That means D amount, D. Molar concentration of D is removed. Some amount of D is removed. When you remove the D, what will happen? You are decreasing the molar concentration of D. And D is nothing but it's your product. That means you are decreasing the product. Okay, so what will chemical reaction do which is at equilibrium? The chemical reaction has to oppose the change. This is change imposed. Change imposed. You are removing the D, that means you are decreasing the molar concentration of D. When you decrease the molar concentration of D, you are decreasing the molar concentration of product because D is your product. So here chemical reaction has to oppose it, has to oppose the change. Oppose the change. And what is the opposite of this? Decrease. Opposite of this will be increase. So product concentration has to increase. That means D concentration has to increase here. So how to increase the concentration of products? Yes, when reactants will change into products, concentration of reactant will decrease and concentration of product will increase. So this is how you can increase the concentration of products. When reactants will change into products, concentration of products will increase. So it's increasing here. Yes, my dear friends? So which reaction is this? This is a forward reaction. So your answer is which option now? B option is your answer, my dear friends. Okay? Now if you want to concentrate on C option, so this option is our answer. It favors forward reaction. So if we remove some amount of A, so let us see here, my dear friends, option number C. Let's write down. Option number C, we are removing some amount of A. That means A will decrease. And A is not your product, A is your reactant. Okay? So that means reactant is decreasing. Then chemical reaction has to oppose the change. Oppose the change means it has to increase the reactant now. When it increases the reactant, how to increase the reactant? The reverse thing will happen. I have to increase the molar concentration of reactant. Who is my reactant? A. I have to increase it. So products should decrease and reactants should increase now. Yes or no, my dear friends? So products are changing into reactants. When products are changing into reactants, it will become now which reaction, man? It will become the backward reaction. So this guy will also favors the backward reaction. So our answer is basically the option number B. Removing some amount of D will favor the forward reaction, my dear friends. Please make note of this. Dear friends, let us do the question number 5. The value of delta G naught for phosphorylation of glucose in glycolysis is 13.8 kilojoule per mole, my dear friends. This is the value of delta G naught. That is called as standard change in Gibbs free energy. You know that if you have a glucose molecule, let us suppose, okay, in addition with ATP, adenosine triphosphate, this molecule will provide inorganic phosphate to the glucose, and glucose can be converted into glucose 6-phosphate, and this ATP will change into ADP. ATP will change into ADP. So this ATP will provide one inorganic phosphate. ATP will provide one inorganic phosphate to glucose. Glucose will become glucose 6-phosphate, and this ATP will change into ADP. That is adenosine diphosphate, correct? So what is the process here? The delta G naught for phosphorylation of glucose in glycolysis is 13.8 kilojoules per mole. So here in this process, delta G naught value is 13.8 kilojoules per mole. What I have to do, I have to find out the value of Kc at 298 Kelvin. So my dear friends, Kc value has to be found. Kc is an equilibrium constant and it can be found only at equilibrium. So let us suppose this reaction is at equilibrium. If this reaction is at equilibrium, then only I can find out the Kc value. Okay? So let us go further and find out it. But apart from that, temperature is also given, that is 298 Kelvin. Previous time, if you remember, we have an expression that is delta G is equal to delta G naught plus RT ln Qc. Right? This was our expression. At equilibrium, what happens? Remember, when the reaction is at equilibrium, your delta G value will be 0 and this QC will be equal to Kc. Then our expression will become equal like this. In place of delta G is 0. So I write down 0 is equal to delta G naught plus RT, and then we have ln, and in place of now QC can be replaced by Kc. So I write down Kc. So what is my final expression here? That is delta G naught. If I transfer this delta G naught to this side, it will become minus delta G naught is equal to RT ln Kc, my dear friends. Okay? Now you also know that this ln, value of ln is a natural log. It can be represented as log to the base e. It can be also represented as 2.303 log to the base 10. But I need here log to the base e because my options are in the form of e. E stands for Euler's base. So e is here Euler's base, my dear friends. So I will use this value log to the base e in place of this. So I will get minus delta G naught is equal to RT, and in place of ln I can use log to the base e. Log to the base e, then I will use here finally Kc. Right? So what I am going to do, all the things are given to me, especially delta G naught is given to me, temperature is given to me, Kc value I have to find out, R value, okay, R value I have to choose, okay, whether I will be choosing 0.08 or I should be choosing 8.314. If I choose R value as 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole, that means here I have delta G naught in kilojoules. So I will convert it into joules first. So it will become 13.8 into 10 raised power 3 joules per mole. Then I can write down R value here as 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. Why did I use the unit joule here? Because I converted delta G naught into joules. So my dear friends, after having all these values, let us simplify it. In place of now delta G naught, what is the value? 13.8 into 10 raised power 3. So we will have here in place of delta G naught minus 13.8 into 10 raised power 3 is equal to R. R stands for 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. Temperature is 298 Kelvin, my dear friends. And log to the base e Kc. We have to find out Kc. Let me transfer these terms. It will become a division here. So I will get here log to the base e Kc is equal to minus 13.8 into 10 raised power 3 upon 8.314 into 298. When you simplify this particular problem, okay, 13.8 into 10 raised power 3 upon 8.314 into 298, you will be getting 5.569. You will be getting here log the base e Kc is equal to minus 5.569 value. So finally you got log Kc equal to minus 5.569. So but I want actually the value in terms of E, that is Euler's base. So how can I get the value in terms of Euler's base? I have to simplify this particular term here. So for that I would like to create some space here, and I will write down this thing. So finally, my dear friends, I have here log to the base e Kc is equal to minus 5.569. In previous class I told you that this base is the Euler's base, and its value is 2.7 approx. So I told you how to simplify the log. Take this e as a base and take this as a power, and the result will be Kc. So my dear friends, take E as a base, okay, take this minus 5.569 as a power, and the result will be Kc. So Kc is the result here. So what is the value of Kc? Kc is equal to e to the power minus 5.569. So obviously our first option is the answer, e to the power minus 5.569. So this was about this particular expression. I hope you have understood. Have a great time. Meet you in the next class. Yo-yo.